Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I want to talk a bit more about Season 11's upcoming game mode, which we now know is titled Descent. Given its reveal was bundled in with the Season 10 stuff this past week, and the fact that TU16 was releasing the very next day after all of this news came out, not only have I not really had much time to talk about it here on the channel, but I haven't even really had the opportunity to, truly dive into the possibilities of this new mode, or just theorize about what it might bring to the game. So that's what I wanted to do today. Just take a bit of a breather and fully go into what we know about this new mode coming to the game, because it sounds really unique and I'm excited to see what it's going to offer. So I hope you will all enjoy, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it. Let's get right into it. So I first want to start with a recap about what we do know about the mode, because like I said, I was covering it pretty quickly in that first stream recap video because I was just trying to keep the information, all concise throughout there. And I know from reading your guys' comments that I glossed over or didn't fully explain a few key details that left some people confused. So let's first set the record straight about what Descent really is. The devs have said that this is going to be a roguelite type mode, which can mean a lot of different things depending on what game you're talking about. In Division's case, it means that they're removing the entire RPG aspect of the game from this mode and really focusing on the gameplay. You won't go into this mode being able to use any of your builds or specialization perks or anything like that. You'll have a weapon, presumably one or two skills, and that's it. You have to rely entirely on your own skill as a player to navigate the various challenges thrown your way. Presumably, this means that enemies won't be outlandishly tanky or anything like that, since there's no stats per se, but you're really going to have to use cover, your movement, and smart tactics to clear these rooms. And that's the basic premise. You're going room by room deeper into this complex, hence the title of the mode, Descent. And don't worry, I want to touch more on the actual location once we get into the discussion portion here. And so, while there won't be any gear or builds in this mode, your primary progression path is going to be in the form of acquiring talents or perks. To me, this sounded quite similar to World of Warcraft's Torghast mode, if anyone played that. Basically, it's this. Let's say you clear a room, and then before you move on to the next one, the game offers you a choice between two perks. What types of bonuses these might be, I have no idea. The dev said there will be some pretty neat and impactful ones, but we're really going to have to wait for some examples. But basically, the further you get into the mode, the more and more you're combining these perks and abilities, and that inherently creates a different and unique playstyle each session. Again, there's no build making, but in the place of that, let's say you get a talent that gives you bonuses in cover, and then you match that with one that buffs up long range damage. Stuff like that will be the mode's internal form of progression and power gain the further and further on you go. And from the sounds of it, the mode is pretty much endless. You can descend as far as you're able, and then whenever you do eventually die or you're ready to exit, and this was the part some people were confused by in my previous recap, you of course are rewarded for your time. Based on how far you go, you are granted a variety of loot rewards. Obviously, we don't yet have specifics, but then when you leave and take those rewards with you, you're then given access back to all of your regular builds. But in a sense, it's a very standalone mode. You don't use your builds, you don't earn loot while playing, meaning nothing is dropping off of the enemies you're killing. It's purely focused on the gameplay experience, and then when you are ready to exit, you're rewarded for your time. So that's the basic breakdown of the Descent mode, and I try to keep that to only information that we know for certain or things that the devs have explained. A big question that people have had that was not clarified back during the reveal stream was whether or not this mode can be played with a group. And again, while that has not been confirmed, all of the artwork images just have one single agent, and if you think about the setup of it, it's very solo oriented, right, with choosing perks and whatnot. So I'm going to go out on a limb and guess for now that Descent will be a solo only mode, which I actually correctly predicted about the mode, so go me. But yeah, very interested in this. I'm excited to eventually try it out. Aside from survival, this will be like the first ever time that the game doesn't focus on its RPG roots in the gameplay. And even in survival, you still eventually make a makeshift build once you got into the dark zone and stuff. But in Descent, to completely remove gear, that's going to feel super different and hopefully super fun. Whenever I go back and play the intro experience for either Division 1 or 2, the gameplay always just feels a bit different. I don't know if it's the lack of stats at that point or what it is, but it just has a different feeling than endgame play. Not necessarily for better or worse, just different. And so if Descent can provide a similar feeling of difference from the gameplay we're all used to at this point, then I think it has a big opportunity to hook a lot of players in. Like I mentioned a minute ago, one aspect I really wanted to touch on was the location. I'll rotate a few of the concept art images we got for the mode on screen as I talk through this, but while the devs didn't directly say this on stream, it looks as though this will be taking place in the DARPA labs at the Pentagon, given all the branding and the overall aesthetic, and I think that itself is going to be very cool. I mentioned this in the original breakdown, but there was a rumor. I'm not entirely sure if it was a rumor or just someone's fun idea they threw out, but that the Pentagon released in episode 2 would come alongside an underground-like mode where you're going deeper and deeper into the labs and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know if this Descent mode is some form of cut content that they're now bringing back and repurposing, or if the devs are just taking advantage of a cool idea someone threw out years ago. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It's coming, and I'm excited for it. Part of the appeal of this deep-level DARPA lab idea, in my opinion, is that there's a lot of cool and weird stuff you could do down there with the level and enemy design. Obviously, we see some Black Tusk enemies in the art photos here, but just imagine the type of stuff they could come up with for what these, top secret abandoned labs could be housing. I don't necessarily know if this is the direction they want to go in, but imagine they lean a bit into the horror vibe here. And I'm not saying like full-blown jump scares or anything like that, but especially with how powerless we're going to feel without our gear, how terrifying would it be to come across some type of mech boss that's like 12 feet tall? Or maybe there's, swarms of drones that do some special abilities, or you find a half-built robo-dog that has some experimental weapons and maybe even its own AI and actual voice. Stuff like that would be so cool, in my opinion, because that's supposed to be the whole idea of DARPA, right? Is that they're these top-secret research labs where some of the world's most classified technologies are being developed. If SHD tech was in the labs, the upper floors that we already swept through in the DARPA mission, what on earth could be 10 levels deeper than that, or 50, or 100? So again, I don't know if they plan to lean into this much, and frankly, I'm not necessarily expecting it from a game design perspective with how much extra work it might take, but it would be really neat to see some weird, freaky technology that's been abandoned down in these dark laboratories. But yeah, we'll see. I think that is the majority of what I wanted to discuss. I guess there's rewards too. I'm not too picky about what type of rewards they give for this. Obviously, I hope they make it somewhat worthwhile, but I would be a bit mad if this suddenly overtook Countdown as the best farming spot, mainly because of Countdown's convenience with its short runtimes and how they're really pitching Descent as a gameplay-focused experience. I wouldn't want that potential fun to be rushed or put second behind, oh, I've got to speedrun it for the best loot, That said, obviously, I hope if you go 50 rooms deep, you've got a lot of loot waiting for you. Additionally, it would be nice to have some exclusive rewards, maybe a new exotic. I think that was a big missed opportunity with these new legendary missions in Season 10. One backpack trophy per mission just didn't quite cut it for me. And, it doesn't have to be new gear, but just make a cool new outfit or something that would be exclusive to this new mode, and I think that'd be pretty cool. But I am looking forward to learning about the reward structure. I think there's a lot they could do there, and a good path that they could follow to properly balance gameplay and loot potential. Alright folks, well I think that is about all I wanted to discuss today regarding the new upcoming Descent mode for the game. Obviously we don't have a ton of details at this point, so for the most part we're just going to have to wait and see what we learn as Season 11 grows closer. But yeah, I just felt like I didn't do it quite enough justice the first time around, and I like to talk about stuff, so go figure. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed, because I am certainly looking forward to this new mode coming to the game next season. I think it has the potential to provide a pretty unique new experience that we've never really seen from the Division franchise before, and considering we're 6 years into that franchise, I think that's pretty cool. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on to be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts about the recently unveiled Descent game mode for The Division 2. Does a roguelite in The Division sound like something you would be interested in? Is there anything you heard in the pitch for the mode that concerns you or makes you curious? And how do you think they should handle the reward structure for this new mode? Whatever you all are thinking about any of those subjects or anything else, be sure to let me know. As always, I'll be very curious to read through your thoughts. I am very excited to learn more about the Descent game mode. Obviously, I think it'll be a little while, given that Season 10 just began, but it is nice to know what we can look forward to. And with Season 11 set to bring some substantial PvP improvements, maybe it will finally deliver the specialization revamp. It's looking like the next update is going to be pretty fire. I'm amped. That's going to do it for me today, everybody. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold. Ow.